Hello, hobby. Three words for today: the F word, the K word, and what was the third topic I was going to do? Shoot, it's gone now. The F word, the K word, and I don't know, AON. Fine. So this is just going to be descriptive. It's not going to be judgmental one way or the other. Just a description of the tone of the internet that I noticed. There's the F word. If you know what I'm talking about, you probably know what I'm talking about, and you probably know what I'm talking about. So it's being used on more and more conservative stations to talk about certain tendencies in cities and such. And this is something that's happening. It's a thing that is happening very, very quickly. And I haven't always seen this before now. But definitely did not see it, say, 4 years ago. Did not even see it 1 year ago. I see it a lot now. And it has to do with that event in Charlotte and some of the other events around that event in Charlotte, and some events that are taking place in some other cities, and a general weariness with getting blamed for stuff. I'm really talking about it a lot, am I not? Well, the word is fatigue. And that probably tells you everything, and if it doesn't, then I don't want you to know. This is a change. This is definitely a change in tone on the internet. And this is probably what people were worried about when people talked about the rise of the right. And you know what? There is a danger. There is a danger things will go too far. Um, and I can see if you're a conservative of a certain persuasion, you should be raising your voice as much as possible now because it protects you moving forward. Um, and protects everybody moving forward from if this became any excesses. The thing is that you blame people of my complexion for a long time for a lot of things. You did. You said we had privilege and yada 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 yada. This was the logical push rebound that was always going to happen from doing that. And fortunately, it's not bad yet, and it might not get that bad. But I'm telling you, there's a tide change here, and if you don't, it is necessary to maintain the current way of things to make sure everybody's as safe as possible in our cities. We need to fix crime now. We need to fix other issues now. And if you don't do this, it's going to get worse in the other direction. And I don't think people are really prepared for what that might look like. Um, suffice it to say that if you call somebody fascist, they might end up agreeing with you. And that is a problem. That is a definite problem. Um, you think it's bad when we disagree with you. If people, and I do disagree with you, but if people agree with you, that's worse. You don't want to put somebody in a situation where they can either disagree with you, or if they agree with you, is even worse for you. I don't know what's going to happen next in this area. Probably nothing. Honestly, it's probably just going to kind of ebb and flow like it has this past while. But I feel like this is a little bit of a different tune. It's in different key signature. It's up a fifth. It's up a fifth from what it was before. And if you know anything about music, basically you raise things by a fifth and basically keep things sounding the same except slightly higher. The tone on this response is up a fifth, and you'd be best to hear it if you can. Another topic where this is the same thing is kind of happening is the keyword. There's a keyword that's going around having to do with this, both the Charlotte incident, the mayor and police chief and their response, which is terrible, but also that event with the woman with the baseball at the baseball game. And the word going around is, I don't know if I can say the word, but the word is unaliving empathy. I think I can say that. And it's associated with a particular group of people who vote. There is also a change of tone against these people, and there's a lot of anger behind it too, for a lot of the same reasons as the rise of the F word. People are mad about certain people not laying down the law. It's not against the people per se, it's the fact that they respond to positions of power with undeserved mercy. Mercy should be when you beg for it. Mercy should be begged for. Call me a bit medieval if you want. Mercy should be begged for. It shouldn't be expected. It shouldn't be given out willy nilly. There's a quote out there that says, "Mercy to the guilty is cruelty to the innocent." And I think that phrasing applies to how people think about a particular demographic of people who have power in cities and attorneyship and similar positions of power, where they're not people feel like they're not doing their job. And they've been given a lot of privilege. And people are starting to call them out on it. And people are like, "Oh, this is the same thing that's always been." No, it's not. It is a new feeling on the internet. And maybe it's my algorithm. Maybe I'm just like going down rabbit holes, and like not getting a good sense of how things are. But I can tell you this: if I'm going down these rabbit holes, a lot of people are going down these rabbit holes because I'm a very, I am on the right, but I am deeply centrist. I do not like extremeness, with a couple exceptions. Um, and so when I notice these things happening, there's a groundswell behind it. I think this word it's been used in English politics over the past week or two. It's called Gammonzilla. Gammonzilla, basically in English politics, from what I understand, is the undercurrent of average people who finally get pissed off. So it's Gammonzilla. They're underneath everything, and there's a vast force under the nation that is usually sweeping. At least has been sweeping for the past 100 years or so. Gammonzilla is waking up, and in England it's Gammonzilla. In America it's something else. But there is a tendency that's waking up, and it might not be pretty, and it might not go along with your or my ethical sensibilities about certain topics. And it's waking up. And the issue that I have is that I can't be upset about it because the other side went so far in like the direction of degeneracy and just everything being wrong that I don't like this new side popping up. But I have a really tough time convincing myself that it's any worse than the previous iteration of power. Um, I mean, ultimately, I like conserving what society is because things can get really, really bad. But there's every indication that the current setup isn't particularly good for me or people like me. Not in a demographic sense, but just in I'm a what do you call a nice guy syndrome. It's not working for people like me. And if it's not working for me, it's like, how can I really defend a system that doesn't really work for me? In some ways, it works well for me. In other ways, it doesn't. So, what am I getting at? What I'm getting at is that there's a tide change happening. I don't quite know how I feel about it, but I feel like it's real. And it's surprisingly not actually coming from the MAGA train. It's actually coming, um, not, it's coming from other sources. There's some overlap. Okay, final topic. Erwin. So, I was going to talk about some third thing, I forget what it is. This is the main tendency that I've seen. Is that the F word, the K word. Never actually said the K word, but you know what it is. So counterpoint to that, we watched the Two Towers. Is there anything else I can talk about? I don't really want to talk about war movies right now. French government collapsing, the Japanese prime minister resigning, England going into probably civil war in a couple years. Germany probably maybe assassinating German politicians. Pope is being feckless. He's not actually addressing any of the actual issues facing the Catholic Church. I'm probably leaving it for a while anyway. I don't like being part of a losing organization. Economic jitters. That's probably coming under a lot of this stuff. There's a great quote that's going around the internet and comment boards. Somebody's saying, "I didn't expect civil war to be every country fighting against itself, yet here we are." I think that's actually a pretty good summation of politics right now. Every single country is fighting against itself, figuring out what it wants to be moving forward. I actually do think even now that America has a better America has a pretty good future ahead of it because we know what we are, and the debates are not moving. Every other country is going to have a lot of conversations happening, and I think America's actually going to get through this relatively peacefully. I don't think I can say the same because we got the actual like violence so much out of our system with Trump. Like the debate's going to continue, but it's not going to go. It's been going on for too long to really go hot. These other countries, there might actually be problems. But the real question in American politics is really going to be what happens in 2026. Um, I think that Democrats are probably going to take the House. That's my prediction. Just because anger motivates more than happiness, and Republicans are actually pretty happy right now. So Democrats are going to take the House. Republicans keep the Senate. They're going to do an impeachment thing. It's not going to go anywhere. And 2026 to 2028 might be actually kind of quiet as far as actual news goes. Um, and I think there's going to be some, if they're smart, Republicans are going to try to navigate to the center on economic issues. I think there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, we don't like the Democrats' social issues or whatever, but could we please like tax the rich a bit more? Like, they make a lot of money and they get a lot of benefits from the way the economy works right now. Can we like screw with them a bit? Um, I think I think that's a take that Vance can definitely make though. The question is he going to be allowed to? And I don't know the answer to that question. Anyway, I'm a bit disconcerted about how the future is going to go right now. Mostly because it's my side that I have to worry about going too far. It's easy to complain about the other side going too far. That's fun. When it's your side maybe going too far, you start feeling a little bit uncomfortable. And are they going too far? That's the other question. I don't think they are right now, but there's a line at which it does go too far, right? And I don't know where that line is. I think once you actually start making judgments about individual people based on their demographic, that's when it gets bad. You can have opinions and make like hot takes or whatever, but you got to treat people like individuals, and I would stand by that. Yes, that's my line in the sand. Anyway, cheers.